We don't normally start every interview that we do with a congratulatory message, but I feel that I should this morning because of the weather conditions.
Yes.
And Danielle Bevan-Jones has made it in from Newport. Well done, Danielle.
Thank
How
you.
were the roads? Did you find them okay?
They were all right, actually, until I got here, and then I had to come through the car park and someone had taken my car parking space. But yeah, they've been fine. It's been okay. It started snowing, but it's all right.
Okay. Fingers crossed for the way home then.
We've got the paparazzi here. We've got a camera filming away in the corner. What's that all about?
Basically, I got diagnosed with endometriosis, which is an unknown women's condition. It's not as rare as everybody thinks it is. And I got diagnosed in January of this year, and I hadn't heard of it before. And I do a documentary film and television course at the University of Wales in Newport, and I decided that I would start making a documentary about it for my coursework. And then the more that I found out, the more passionate I got about it, the more that I went through my treatments, the more that I thought people should know about this, and the more that I found out about the figures, I was like, right, that something needs to be done about this, and I'm going to be the person to do it.
Okay, Danielle, you're 22 years old.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about endometriosis. How did you first suspect that something was wrong?
My uncle is actually a GP. Well, he's retired now, but he was a GP, and I was having quite a lot of pain. I had my daughter 3 years ago, and I was in quite a lot of pain, and I couldn't really understand why, because I felt like I was still in labour, even though I'd already had my daughter.
So these were tummy pains?
Yeah, period pain is what a lot of people would describe it as. I thought it was worse than any period pain that I'd had before. And I kept going to my GP, and he wouldn't do anything, and I switched lots of GPs, and I got told that I was a hypochondriac and there was nothing wrong with me. And it was suggested at one point that I go to see a psychotherapist. And I got referred to the hospital and got diagnosed in January.
And at that moment, I mean, I can't imagine what it was like. It must have been almost bittersweet to be actually told what was wrong at last by someone who knew what they were talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, I went along to my consultant, and she said she was 90% certain it was endometriosis. And before the operation, I was kind of like, oh, someone else agrees with me. I probably don't even have it now. But then when I came round from the operation, they said, oh yeah, you have got this, and the best advice that we can give you is try and have another baby soon. And I was like, well, I'm in my first year of my course. I can't really do that. I
Sure.
can't really have another baby now.
So explain to us what endometriosis is. It affects the womb, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a taboo subject, really, to be honest. It's kind of where there is the lining of your womb, which is meant to leave every time you have a period. Basically, women that have endometriosis, it doesn't tend to leave in the way that it should, so it can come back out through your fallopian tubes because they're not actually connected to your ovaries. So it can come back out and it can attach itself to other parts of the body. So, for example, they think that I might have endometriosis not only on the outside of my womb, also around my ovaries and my kidneys, bladder, that sort of area. It's not life-threatening, but it can be really dangerous because it can go as far as the brain,
Yes.
or the heart muscle.
So what does it mean? I mean, what are the prospects then? What does it mean for your life?
Well, usually a lot of women don't actually know that they have endometriosis until they try to get pregnant. And I've kind of had it the other way round. I had a lot of pain after I'd had a baby. So for most women, it means that, you probably are quite unlikely to have children. There's no treatments available, no endometriosis specific treatments. At the moment, I've got injections once a month called Prostap, and they're giving me like a chemical menopause. So I'm on HRT at the age of 22. It's quite remarkable, really. But at the moment they're like, oh well, the next stage really is a hysterectomy, and it's not really a good option.
At 22?
No. I mean, I'm in touch with a couple of the charities. I work really closely with the Endometriosis She Trust, a lady called Diane there, and I hope she's listening. I'm really close friends with her, and she said she's trying to fight tooth and nail because she knows a lot of women that have had hysterectomies, and they think it's the end of the problems, but it's just the beginning of a new one.
And how many women does this affect?
1 in 10. It's the same statistic as breast cancer.
Gosh.
But we don't die, so I suppose that's why it's not really known about.
And do you think that's the reason it doesn't get the attention, the press attention, the medical research money?
No, it doesn't get as much funding. I mean, they have had a breakthrough in endometriosis research, a gene research in the last week, which is good news for everybody that suffers from it. But it's estimated that 80% of the women that have endometriosis don't actually know that they have it. They've never even heard of it. So it's I'm on a kind of one-woman campaign to raise awareness, but also hope as well for people who do have endometriosis.
Yeah. So if you say some women don't know they have it, I imagine then in some cases it's symptomless, is it?
In some cases, I mean, it affects everybody differently.
Yes.
I had a lot of pain. My auntie, who has had a hysterectomy, she didn't have any pain at all. She just didn't know, and she just assumed that, she just couldn't get pregnant. She didn't know that there was anything wrong. And as soon as they found out she had a hysterectomy, there's only one way it can be diagnosed as well, and that's a laparoscopic operation. So
Yes.
it's quite invasive to begin with, really.
And is there an element that it might be genetic in any way, that it goes through families?
Well, there's not a lot of research, but they
don't know.
think so. They think it might be that case. My mum, she says she didn't have it, but I don't know. She might have had it and just never been diagnosed with it. I hope not, because I don't want my daughter to have it. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Yeah. So where do you take your campaign from here? You're making your film.
Yeah.
And who do you hope will see that?
Well, I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to go on to some television, like daytime sort of shows.
Yes.
That would be really nice, and kind of spread the message about the film and endometriosis, and hopefully manage to get it commissioned and shown on national television.
At the age of 22, I mean, you've got your whole life ahead of you, doing this documentary course
Yeah.
and all the rest of it, and you have all those things to look forward to that all 22-year-olds do, a successful career and the prospect of children, more children. I wonder what it does to your state of mind and your thinking to consider the prospect that won't happen.
I think I use being diagnosed as probably one of the best things to happen to me, really, because I now know what's wrong with me. I know it's not just in my head, and I can kind of take comfort from the fact that I can go out and help other women to realise that what they're going through isn't normal. Women are just suffering in silence. Everybody's being told, oh, period pain's normal, and it's not normal. No one should have period pain. It's not a normal thing at all. So I think I kind of take comfort from that, and I think, right, it's going to make me a better person. If I've been able to suffer through this, then I can get through anything, and it makes me more determined than ever.
And I suppose a message from your story is it took you so long to get diagnosed, didn't it?
Yeah.
A message, I suppose, to other women listening to this is don't give up. If you feel that there is something wrong, please keep going and keep seeing your doctor.
Yeah, well, even if you have to switch your doctor, I think, yeah, definitely make sure that you go to your GP and say, what I'm going through isn't normal. I would really, really like to have laparoscopy, or go and see a gynecologist or an endometriosis consultant, because there's no point in sitting there and suffering in silence.
And for anyone listening to this who perhaps is, apart from changing your GP or going back and getting a second opinion, there are support groups, there are charities here
Yeah.
who can listen and give advice and support.
Yeah, there's the Endometriosis She Trust, and they are running a few clinics. I think they're based at a hospital in London or Wolverhampton it is. And there's also Endometriosis UK, which runs support groups all around the UK. I think there's one in Cardiff. And yeah, those are the two main charities.
We wish you all the very best, Danielle. I bet your little one's looking forward to Christmas, is she?
Oh, she's really excited. Father Christmas is on the brain.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Good to see you, and all the very best of luck with the campaign and the film. Danielle Bevan-Jones from Newport.
Outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful. And since we've no place to go, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. It doesn't show signs of stopping.
I have 12 notifications of people saying that they were listening on Facebook.
That's amazing.
Corn for popping, the lights are turned way down low. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
How do you think it went?
Oh, it was
Really
so
good
it was
talking, you know,
okay.
really good stuff.
I don't know. Do you know what? It's the same. Like if we do like a sheet for anything, and I think, oh, I really messed up that sentence, or oh, I didn't know what I was saying, and then I was fine. Like then I listen back and I'm like, oh, it was okay.
Jan in Rosebush, lovely to hear from you, Jan. You really enjoyed our chat with Danielle on the subject of endometriosis. You said in 1982, I kept going back to my doctor with the same symptoms and I was told to go away and that it was all in my head. When I moved to Wales and then to a different doctor, he diagnosed me straight away. And in 1986, I had a hysterectomy. To be told, like Danielle was, that your pain and your suffering is all in your head is absolutely terrible. So from Jan in Rosebush, Danielle, she wishes you all the very best indeed.